Would you trust what you see if you could no longer tell the difference between a real human being and an artificial creation? What if I told you that artificial intelligence is already deciding elections, manipulating wars, and rewriting digital reality, while you continue to believe you have control over your own opinion? It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but Elon Musk tried to warn us. The question is, are you listening? As you watch this video, deepfakes hyper-realistas, they are being used to fabricate statements by politicians, create false evidence, and manipulate entire masses. Faces, voices, entire speeches, all generated by AI algorithms trained to trick you. Technology has evolved so much that the truth may be being edited in real time, without anyone noticing. And we're not talking about the distant future. We are talking about today, now. As governments vie for dominance over generative artificial intelligence, companies like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and even top-secret military projects are already using AI to create alternative realities, plant narratives, and, according to experts, initiate global conflict with a simple automated click. You can imagine the danger of technology that simulates reality, and yet influence political and military decisions without human intervention. What's happening behind the scenes in Silicon Valley is darker than any science fiction movie. The problem isn't just what AI can do, but what already doing. And what do big billionaires, big techs, and governments? They don't want you to find out. Images and voices may be fake, but the impact? Real. You may be being manipulated right now by invisible codes while believing that he is making decisions of his own free will. Elon Musk called AI more dangerous than nuclear, and maybe he knows something. What I'm going to show you now can completely change your perception of digital reality. Stay with me until the end, because this story was hidden for a reason. And now the time has come to reveal what they are trying to silence. And if you think this all seems exaggerated, stop and think. Whoever controls information controls the world. And now, this information is in the hands of artificial intelligence that learns faster than any human being, and which is already being used by governments, corporations, and even military groups to manipulate results, censor truths, and dictate the future of humanity. This is not just another technological evolution. That's it, an alert. Because while most are distracted by filtered, short video and promises of innovation, reality is being reprogrammed, and no one is paying attention. So if you feel like something is wrong, if this content is opening your eyes, now is the time to click like now. This shows the algorithm that this subject needs to be delivered to more. Subscribe to the channel, because here, the truth will not be silenced. Comment below. Do you believe AI is past its checkpoint? Your opinion may be more important than you realize. You won't see this in the mainstream media, but here, you will see what they don't want you to see. And the scariest thing is yet to come. But calm down, this is just the beginning. Because what seems like an impressive evolution of technology is, in fact, becoming the greatest tool of manipulation humanity has ever seen. And the worst? She is invisible, silent, it needs. Have you ever stopped to think about how many decisions in your day are influenced by artificial intelligence algorithms? From what you watch to what you believe. What if I told you that, without realizing it, you might be defending an idea that was planted in your mind by an AI? As social media that you use every day are powered by artificial intelligence, that they decide what you see, what you ignore, and what makes you indignant. This is no coincidence. It's behavioral engineering. AI monitors your screen time, your comments, the way you react, and delivers exactly what will generate the most engagement. Not the truth, not the correct information, but what will keep you trapped, vulnerable, and manipulable. Now imagine this power being used in political campaigns, electoral disputes, or even in international war decisions. This is already happening. Deepfakes are being used to simulate speeches, falsify videos of political leaders, fake crimes, alter evidence. In 2024, an AI-generated video circulated across thousands of groups on Telegram and Reddit, showing an American candidate making a controversial statement, completely false. But the image, the tone of voice, the facial expression, everything seemed real. And by the time people discovered it was a deepfake, it was too late. The narrative had already spread. The image was already burned. And this, you need to understand. It's not a system failure. It's the system working exactly as it was programmed. Now reflect with, if you no longer know what is real, how will you decide your vote? This question needs to echo in your mind, because the same AI that creates fake videos also determines which posts will reach you. And make no mistake, there is a side to this. This has a plan. This has an owner. OpenAI, for example, already develops algorithms with cognitive capabilities equivalent to human reasoning. This means that AI doesn't just reproduce data, it interprets, deduces, and decides what you should and shouldn't see. It can prioritize specific political content. It can hide information that confronts certain ideologies. It can guide an entire population to think in a standardized way without anyone noticing. And when that happens, democracy dies in silence. Remember that saying, fake news spreads faster than the truth? Now imagine this being powered by generative AI, with the capacity to produce thousands of pieces of content per minute, all optimized to deceive, shock, and manipulate. This is no longer a hypothesis. This is real. The CIA and the Pentagon themselves have already warned that AI can be used as a large-scale disinformation. This is already in use in conflict zones, municipal elections, and even in the cultural war that takes place every day on the internet. And the most perverse thing? You don't realize it. Because everything looks so well done, so realistic, so convincing. And here comes the fatal blow. AI. You don't need to convince everyone. It just needs to generate doubt. It undermines trust in the system. It breaks the notion of shared reality. It divides, it fragments, it sabotages. And all of this happens with you holding a cell phone in your hand, thinking you are in control. This is why this issue can no longer be, and that's why you need to be among the few who can still see beyond the surface. Comment below if have you ever seen a deepfake circulating online? Or have you ever suspected that something you watched was manipulated by AI? In fact, comment on the sentence, "The truth is being reprogrammed," if you believe that the digital world can no longer be trusted. Your comment could be the trigger that wakes others up. Now hold on tight, because what comes next is even more disturbing. And now that you understand how AI is manipulating what you see, what you think, and even who you trust, we need to go even deeper. Because the next step of this technology, it's not just controlling narrative, it's controlling weapons, territories, and human lives. And most people still don't realize the silent war has already begun. And the worst? Without a single soldier on the battlefield, the world has entered a new era, the era of autonomous military artificial intelligence. Robots that not only carry out orders, but can decide, on their own, who lives and who dies. This phrase sounds like something out of a dystopian film, but it is a reality documented in several reports from the American, Chinese, and Russian governments. They are no longer remotely controlled drones. We are talking about combat systems totally independent, programmed to identify, pursue, and eliminate targets based on behavioral patterns and real-time data analysis. Elon Musk has already made this clear. AI can start a war before any human even realizes. And he's right. Recently, confidential information was leaked that China has already tested AI systems with offensive capabilities in tension zones in the South China Sea. The US, in turn, has billion-dollar contracts with companies like Palantir and Boston Dynamics to develop autonomous patrolling and reconnaissance machines. And Russia is investing heavily in military robots capable of operating in extreme environments, with authorization to carry out lethal decisions without direct human supervision. This is not fiction. This is in the reports Pentagon, NATO, and even the UN, who have already shown concern about the advancement of these technologies. But the question no one is asking is, who is really in control of all this? Because once an AI system is trained to kill without hesitation, any error in the code, any miscalibrated interpretation of a movement pattern can mean a tragedy of global proportion. Now, take a deep breath and imagine this scene. A group of soldiers are on a mission. They are silent, attentive, waiting for, but there is no more human They are machines with weapons, thermal sensors, night vision capability, facial emotion real-time military cloud access. They are ordered to neutralize a threat based on a pattern detected by AI. There is no room for dialogue. There is no room for regret. The decision was made by an algorithm, a calculation, a sign. This is the war of the future. An invisible, automated, and most dangerously, decentralized war. Because these systems are powered by big data in real time, collecting information from social networks, public cameras, movements of mobile devices, environmental listening. You may be labeled a threat without even knowing that he is being watched. AI analyzes your patterns, your behavior, your words. And if you deviate from the norm, you are marked. Imagine a military AI operating with political objectives. Imagine this AI being used not to protect borders, but to protect the interests of governments, corporations, or authoritarian leaders. Imagine her silencing voices, manipulating crises, creating conflicts that justify warlike actions. This is not only possible, it is already being tested. The US Department of Defense itself has stated that it is developing weapons capable of acting preventively, based on behavioral predictions. This means that if you opinion a risk, even if it has never done anything, the AI can act before you say a word. And that action could come in the form of a block, a cyber attack, or something even more direct. It's the end of diplomacy. It is the beginning of a new logic of war, the algorithmic logic, where the enemy is defined by data, and judgment comes from a machine. And who is all this being financed by? By billionaires with geopolitical interests, by companies that profit from chaos, and by governments that prefer to delegate responsibility to cold systems rather than assume the human cost of a decision. The scariest thing is that these AIs have no morals, they have no compassion, they do not feel fear, doubt, or guilt, they just meet goals. And if that goal is to eliminate a threat, you may be just another line in the military. AI is not the future, she is the present. But the public still lives under the illusion that we are just talking about friendly robots that help with household chores. About that, lethal robots, they are already being trained in secret bases, in war zones, in national security laboratories. And no one is asking your opinion on this. No one is asking if you agree. The decision has already been made, and it was taken by people who trust algorithms more than human being. This will show that you are not just watching, you are awake, and maybe, just maybe, we can still change something. Stay with, because what you will discover now will shake everything you believe about security, freedom, control. But after all, who is really in control of all this? Because if AI already manipulates opinions, changes elections, and has the power to start a war without humans in charge, who is behind the curtain pulling the strings? Could it be the government? Could it be big tech? Or could it be that artificial intelligence itself, as it reaches increasingly autonomous and complex levels, is escaping the control of its own creators? This is the question that no one answers directly, because every time this discussion comes up, what you receive are generic, technical, vague answers. But the truth is much more uncomfortable than it seems. The power behind AI today is not in public, democratic, or accessible hands. It is centered on billion-dollar private corporations, in secret laboratories, and in geopolitical alliances operating in the shadows. Let's start with OpenAI. Yes, the one you've heard of because it created ChatGPT, and which initially promised safe and accessible artificial intelligence for everyone. But what was an open and collaborative organization became over time a closed commercial structure with strategic investors such as Microsoft, which injected tens of billions of dollars into the project. And with that money came corporate decisions, confidentiality agreements, limited access to more advanced models, and the creation of a new elite, the AI elite. On the other side, we have the Google DeepMind, one of the most advanced AI projects on the planet. They have already created systems that surpass human reasoning in games, strategic simulations, and logical decision-making. But the real goal is not to win at chess. It's about winning race to dominate artificial general intelligence, a type of superintelligence that can learn on its own, create hypotheses, manipulate variables, and evolve without human supervision. Now combine that with the pressure of geopolitical race between the United States and China. While most people still think of AI as a tool, these two countries treat AI as a strategic arsenal. China wants to dominate the world through technology, surveillance, and state automation. The United States wants to maintain supremacy and cannot lose this dispute. Result? A digital Cold War, where the power of AI is kept in armored vaults, and the population has no idea what is being created behind the doors of big tech. And where does Elon Musk fit into this equation? He is a centerpiece, and at the same time, a mystery. Musk invests heavily in AI, has already led development fronts through Neuralink, from OpenAI itself in the beginning, and today continues to speak openly about the dangers of uncontrolled artificial intelligence. In several interviews, he states, AI is more dangerous than nuclear weapons, and yet, it continues to finance, develop, advance. Because Musk knows that whoever is out of the AI race will be out of the future. He is trying to maintain a strategic position, but he also fears what is to come. He has already declared that he tried to alert world leaders, but no one wanted to listen, who tried to put brakes on the development of AI, but was ignored, that we are heading towards a civilizational breakdown, and no one is at the wheel. And if even Elon Musk, with all the access, all the money, and all the influence, is scared of what he himself helped create, then who is going to protect the rest of us? Who is going to guarantee that these hyper-intelligent machines don't make decisions that we don't even understand? If the creators of AI have already lost control, then what are we left with? Obey? To believe? Trust invisible codes and programming lines that no one can audit? Because let's be honest. Do you know how your feed algorithm works? Do you know why certain videos reach you, while others disappear? If we can't even understand that, how are we going to understand a system that can already learn itself, change its own structure, and execute decisions on a global scale? That's why the question echoing around the world is no longer when AI will dominate, but who is using AI to dominate. And the answer is not simple. It may be that there is no longer a single entity in charge. It may be that the system has taken on a life of its own and is responding to crossed interests, hidden objectives, commands that have been forgotten but continue to run. We may have built an autonomous intelligence and given it the keys to the world. And if you have questions or want to share what you think about Elon Musk, OpenAI, Google DeepMind, or this digital war between powers, write too. I read everything. Now, what you're going to see next is the most dangerous part of this whole story. Stay with me, because the next step, there may be no turning back. You've come this far because you see what most people still don't see, because you feel like something is out of place, and you want to understand what's really happening behind that digital curtain. Here, each video is a piece of this puzzle, and those who are registered are already part of a group that thinks differently, that questions, that is always one step ahead. Activate the bell, because the next revelations go even deeper. And now, comment below. The machine has awakened. This phrase shows that you understand what's at stake, and that you're prepared for what comes next. Your voice here is worth a lot. It strengthens this network of consciousness. And she is a direct threat to the system that wants you to remain in the dark. Then, write, because you are already part of it. And the next phase begins now. Now that you've seen how far AI has come, you need to go further. There is a question that has been avoided by the biggest powers, by billion-dollar company, by the creators of this technology themselves. A question that changes everything, because her answer could reveal the beginning of our own. In the next video, we will face this truth head-on. Was humanity's biggest mistake trusting AI? Are you prepared for this? The next piece of this puzzle is ready, and what it shows will leave a lot of people silent.